side to side, let's go. Let's go, let's move, side to side, let's go.
Hey, hi, hello, beautiful people. It's Jamali here, and this is the first interview in a hopefully very long series of interviews from a bunch of different individuals. Today, our first interview on the Jamallyverse network will be with Twitch streamer Primecayes, political Twitch streamer who holds open panels. They stream 6 days out of the week on twitch.tv/Primecayes. You can see some of their gaming content on youtube.com/Primecayes as well as the VODs of all of their open panels and closed panels. I wanted to interview Primecayes first because I believe that he also has a shared view of having good faith conversations with other people from different walks of life. And he also platformed me when I first caught on to the political Twitch scene, and I really appreciated that. And hopefully you guys can enjoy this interview and get a good insight into Primecayes' mind and see how and why he created these open panels and why the format is thriving, presumably due to his pioneering in that field. Thank you again for watching, guys. Stay beautiful. Enjoy the interview. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave comments down below, and we'd love to read them.
Hello, everyone. This is the Every Roundtable. So, thanks all for being here. This is All Black Everything Roundtable. The label itself is losing its importance, which might be a good thing. All right. The effect of Florida's "Don't Say Gay" bill. The point is that like Republicans are acting in bad faith, conservatives are acting in bad faith, and they're calling anything grooming. Is to talk about like hairstyles, right? And then it's like, well, yeah, that's nice, I guess, but why haven't we gotten reparations? There are people who are affected by hair discrimination. I'm assuming you don't deny this.
This is going to be such a nightmare to edit because now I'm going to have to edit from the back and then move everything to the front because I'm going to ask you these questions again. But let's start off with the original question, and that would be, who are you and what do you do? And where can people find you?
Hello. Hi. My name is Primecayes, Primecayes. I'm a Twitch and YouTube streamer. You can find me at Primecayes. I run political panels where individuals get together. We talk about politics and cultural events or anything that's fun for us. Something that we can argue about usually. That's where I met my friend Jamali here. He's a regular in my panels. Valuable member of the community. Yeah.
How long have you been streaming political discourse and what got you into it?
I have been streaming for 2+ years. I originally got into it because I had nothing else going on during the pandemic, and so I had been watching streams for a while, like on Twitch. I'd been watching other people stream, and I had a little bit of interest in doing it. But I thought I didn't have any confidence, so I could actually do it. But it was the pandemic hit, and then I heard the news that Twitch's viewership was rising, people were just home. I'm like, all right, if there's any time I'm gonna do it, it might as well be now. And so I did. So when I originally got started, it was just me talking about the news, right? Like I assembled various news article. Here's my opinion on that, and then that's it. I actually ended up stumbling into doing panels. So, at first I would just present my opinions on things, and then I started gaining a bit of an audience. And eventually, one of my audience members, he asked me to create a Discord. He said that he wanted to argue with me on voice. Right? I wasn't planning on making a Discord at the time because my audience was so incredibly small. But he wanted me to do that so we could argue on voice. I'm like, okay, for him, because he's always around. And he would work at night, and so I started streaming at night. And he would fuck off of work and just argue with me on the internet. He was on the conservative side of things. And it was a great time. It was just two people giving their opinion. And then other people showed up and they said, hey, I want to join in. Okay, so now we have 3 individuals having a conversation. Then 4. And then it got to the point the number grew, and I found myself just having to manage their their conversations, and then I guess I'm a panel host now. So how that happened.
The natural progression. As a side to that question, how would you? What advice would you give people trying to break into that same sort of political area? You mentioned that you didn't have much confidence when you first started that it would be a successful venture. Obviously, now you've turned it into more of a successful venture now. What advice would you give to those people starting off from the ground zero?
It doesn't have anything to do with political streaming, but just streaming or YouTube in general. Consistency. You gotta be consistent. You don't have to be consistent on my level, where
6 days a week.
I haven't missed a stream in 2 years since I started.
That's insane.
Yeah, so you don't have to be like me, but still, overall, you have to have like a no excuses mentality. It can't be just like and everything. If you're actually serious about this, you want people to be able to, if you're streaming, to be able to like schedule their lives around you, right? And know that this person's going to be around, this person I enjoy, I'm going to make sure I'm there, right? Because they're always there, so I'm going to be there. So I definitely do that. In terms of like YouTube videos, it's a different thing when it's just like you're putting out YouTube essays, but still in that case, you don't want to ever fall off. There's always reasons why not to, right? Why you don't feel like doing it, why you don't feel like streaming. I have run through all those reasons. I can assure you.
I'm still struggling with it. So.
Yeah, and it's hard. It's hard. I definitely don't want to imply that it's easy. And people just do have life things that get in the way, right? So I'm trying not to say this in a way to make a person feel guilty. But it's if this is going to be a priority for you, then make it a priority for you, and be consistent. Put that content out there. Push yourself to make it happen. So yeah, I'm not really good at ranking things, but I don't watch other people's content like that because I make my own content. So I'm not attacking anyone, but I think that Destiny is an extremely engaging individual. I think that he is popular for a reason. It is not at all surprised that he's gotten where he's gotten, because he puts on a good show. His opinions are dog shit, and I'll tell him that to his fucking face. But and I have many times. But this guy, he grabs your attention, and he makes everything sounds like he's a genius. Like he's very skilled at that, at the very least. But yeah, this guy, he's bursting with talent there. And I also would say I like Stardust. I think Stardust is a innovative individual. I love people who are creative, and she's creative in the way she engages her audience and does just like fun things with them, So that's. But there are other people who are tearing it up. Like IRI is doing great. IRI, he does a vastly different thing from Stardust.
Who's IRI for people who don't know?
Oh, sorry. Excuse me. I'm really important. That's what he calls himself. Mm-hmm. You blame them for that. But he covers Congress in like a more sober manner, where he just like goes over like the mechanics of Congress and politics in general, and it's actually a quite useful stream. Then there's like Chud Logic, who's I don't know, like the what's that pop. That big celebrity magazine that everyone TMZ, yeah, he's like, I feel like he's like one of the TMZ, like the TMZ of
he's looking for that drama. He's
politics, yeah.
Okay.
But he's actually a really smart individual. Just saying that would, I think, make a person underestimate him, but he's like a really smart individual. He actually has, I think, really sharp analysis when he does that, rather than just like focusing on drama. But I love him either way, But anyway, so there's so many. So you asked me like, what's my favorite? But all these people are doing all these different things, and they're good at the things that they're doing. So like, shout out to all of them.
Okay, And earlier I asked you, when the audio was muted, I asked you who contributed or what contributed the most to your ideology, and you had given Jon Stewart. And I appreciated that answer, because I think a lot of us grew up, especially in America, listening to Jon Stewart or Bill Maher, as we had talked about. As the later half of your answer was actually recorded.
Reading like The Guardian or something, and I'm like, oh, I'm pretty connected. Like I know what's going on. But then I just stumbled upon Democracy Now, and like, these aren't stories I ever hear on CNN. Like, these are perspectives I've never actually heard. They're talking about like the Native American struggle, and like fighting against like pipelines, and just like very, again, like niche things that just never covered in mainstream. So that affected me. It started pushing me farther left. And then like I'm watching The Young Turks, Sam Cedar, The Majority Report, Michael Brooks back when he was around, RIP. There's been a whole list of individuals. So I don't know there's one person I can credit. It's just been a journey.
But to sort of draw a juxtaposition between political commentators that appear on TV versus political commentators online, and why those two are so vastly different, and one is taken a lot more seriously than the other, what do you think we can do as political online content creators to make the public take the opinions said online more seriously?
That's an interesting question. That's a really interesting question.
Yeah, take your time.
Well, I think that the way the online community is looked at is inevitable, because we are new media. And like, looking back into the past, like, this is how it always is with new media, right? Like, from movies, right? They weren't taken seriously as like a serious form of thing, a serious form of performance. TV at some point wasn't considered as something serious. Novels, I'm hearing, apparently were not gonna, when they first appeared. It wasn't like people originally latched onto those. Like, they're, when it comes to like what's taken seriously or not, it depends on who is in power, who is the elite, right, and what their opinions on these things are. And the elite are always going to like whatever the status quo is initially, until new media ends up proving itself, and it takes a while. The elite at this point in time are television's where it's at, right? News media, where they especially have power. They already have a foothold there, and their opinions are reflected back at them. So of course they're going to think, well, this is the only proper way, the only thing that actually makes any sense. So they're gonna look down on us. They're gonna have disdain, and then that is gonna be reflected within the news networks that they control. Especially because the people online are competition for them. But one, I think the passage of time is on our side. Every day, not every day. Every day. There are people who are cutting the cord, who are moving away from that, no longer watching that, like, and the audience members for traditional news, it just keeps getting older, right? It's ridiculously old. So, and they know it. They got a demographic problem, and they don't have no idea how to reverse it. They don't have a goddamn clue. You would think that so this is someone an opinion someone else had online, but Rachel Maddow has just stepped back from her show. She's going to be doing, I believe she does Monday nights, but for the rest of the week they have a new person, Alex Wagner, who she had previously been on the network a while ago. Then they fired her, and they did their Progressive Purge on MSNBC, and now they brought her back to take over. But someone said, like, well, why not someone from new media, which is continuously taking up more of the market share, right? And they wouldn't even think of that. It would never occur to them to do something like that. And I think that with the passage of time, these people, they're going to adapt. Unless they adapt seriously, they're just going to lose out on market share to the point where enough people will be, interacting with this media to start taking it seriously. Secondly, though, is maybe this is thirdly, I don't know, I've lost track. Is the disinformation. When we have people like Alex Jones who get mixed in with someone like Bosch, I guess, right? Like there's just online like new media, that's gonna be an issue, and maybe rightly so. I don't know, because how do you know who to trust? For traditional media, there is a level of, again, I completely trust them, but like there's a lot of decorum and accountability. Accountability. Yeah, sure. Accountability that is there that just doesn't exist online. Mm-hmm. So, it's not like the Young Turks are trying. I think they're actually the closest that we have. Like they're a news network, but right now they're more. They're less journalists, right, in terms of like getting new information, but they were analysts analyzing the news that they collect. Right? They're not big enough. It takes so much money to run an operation like that. Mm-hmm. So another thing is just like we just need the funds, but I guess that also comes with time, with more people watching, more funds accrue, and maybe people can put together something that could actually rival a traditional media outlet.
I love that answer. Absolutely. There's a lot of hope in there, and time absolutely is on our side, I think. Bill Maher was one for me growing up. And I didn't even realize at the time that Bill Maher was a lot more center-right than, I considered him to be very, very left-leaning, actually, when I was younger.
So when it comes to Bill Maher, so I watched Bill Maher as well. And I think Bill Maher has been on a journey as well, but that's to the right. I think at some point, maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm looking, and maybe if I watched his old shows, then I would have a different opinion on it, like with my eyes now. But like I think that he was like center left at some point. But then he's just progressively moved. And I think, one of his big claims to fame was that he just was questioning the Bush wars, right? Like he questioned that stuff where most people weren't at the time. No one was doing that. Like other than him, and then later on Jon Stewart. Like and he also got, I forgot exactly why he got canceled on his original show. But like he started questioning these types of things. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you're economically like left, right? Especially, and then became a rich guy. He became he's a rich fuck. And he stuck around with other rich individuals, and he had like a class alignment. I think that happens. I think that drift is inevitable if your if your axioms aren't grounded. Oh God!
Wow, bringing up the Rim the Bath Boy.
Please, don't touch me. But yeah, like you just have to have like solid principles that you're basing yourself off of. Like so, there's that guy. You've been on the Reverie before, I believe, right?
I have not. No.
You have not? Shit. Okay. Well, I got to invite you to the Reverie. But I have a person because he's just top of mind because I was talking to him yesterday. His name is Scott, and he runs the Baby and Liberty channel, right? He's a
I was watching yesterday, so I did see him on there. Yeah.
Sure. He's an anarchist capitalist, right? And him and I disagree on everything. I don't expect him to shift because his principles are grounded. He has a very firm understanding of like what he values in the world and what he wants to see happening, like in the world to come to fruition. So this guy, I'm sure he'll have some sort of growth in his life because he's a human being. He's not static. But I don't foresee some sort of drastic political shift within him. I can see that for a person like Bill Maher if he doesn't have his principle grounded. For anyone, really, you're easily shifted.
Mm-hmm. Would you say that there has been more or less a shift from center left to center right in this country, or vice versa?
Center left to center right. Where do I think the Overton window is shifting? I guess it's such a broad question that it's difficult to answer, and I think it's kind of impossible to answer because you have to kind of break it down into what you're talking about. Now, I think it's shifted in different ways for different for social and economic perspectives. It shifted differently on those axes, and I think it's shifted differently per geographic location. So I think blue areas have become more blue, at least when it comes to social values, right? I think red areas have been shifting definitely more red. I think it seems to be accelerating because of our media and like the divisions that they're drawing, like in our media being fractured, right? So not just like the blaming the mainstream media on this one, the fractured nature of our media landscape in terms of YouTube and anything you can find on the internet like Facebook and all that. So that has caused us a severe splintering. So there's that, and then economically, I think that the country more or less is shifting left. Because we've seen a lot of failures of a lot of institutions people were previously relying on, like the massive housing crisis, right? Mm-hmm. When that happened, people were already losing faith in institutions previously, but when that happened, we saw how the elites made out like bandits and then no one was punished. And also we have like healthcare rise, costs spiraling out of control. There was a point where like Medicare for all was seriously had a chance. Like it was on the table, and like it was to the point that like insurance executives, like they were terrified. Like, oh shit, this shit's gonna pass, right? No worries though. You had your neoliberal hero, President Obama, there to back you up, right? So, gotcha. Yeah. So, but there was that fervor in this country, and I think that has in other areas people are rethinking like what they've been told has to happen. These things that are simply economic truths that you really shouldn't be questioning. Obviously, right? So that this commodification that we see on every strata of the economy that wasn't there before, and not in the economy, like in daily life, we are finding more and more ways to like financialize things, and how that's just made things worse for everyone but the people who are collecting the checks. So, hope that answers your question.
Well, since you brought up, President Obama and everything, and sort of in the same similar vein, if you were elected president, what would your first order of business be?
If I was elected, oh God.
You got a lot of power in your hands. You just got inaugurated. Sit down in the Oval Office. What is the first thing on your agenda?
Well, I would immediately realize, oh yeah, I'm fucking powerless as president to do anything radical. Like, if I was emperor, that'd be different. But you're only making me president. Okay. Well, what kind of Congress do I have? Like,
let's say you have the Congress you want. The Congress is in your favor. You have the House, you have the Senate.
I have a socialist I've already won at that point. I've already won. I sit back and look at my spoils. So okay, let's say a Congress that's not necessarily like socialist, but is like economically leftist and open to new ideas. You don't have to fight them on it, right? What am I doing? I'm nationalizing anything I can get my hands on. I am nationalizing healthcare, right? That's done. I am nationalizing parts of our energy infrastructure. I am nationalizing railroads. I am nationalizing fuck what I'm nationalizing the internet like lines, right? I could have a deeper policy proposal if you gave me a little bit on this, but like basically internet connections, like we should have a national option here where people could use a low cost option at the very least. If not a public option, then like fucking nationalize
something. So you want to essentially you're gonna straight socialize the country as much as you can. It's a new deal all over again, but even more.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we're going deep there. We are creating at least a public option in terms of pharmaceuticals. We used to do that in this country. We used to like create drugs. The state used to create drugs.
Actually, didn't know that.
Yeah, that's the thing that happened, right? Like, and like when we had public health emergencies, like people went to the state for like immunizations that the state had come up with, had formulated, and then at some point we financialized, we commercialized that. We because of I'm going to town on patent law. I'm going to town on patent law because that's what's been driving this, and it stagnates innovation. I am restructuring things so that pharmaceutical companies, one, they can do their own research and development. They don't need our universities, anything that comes out of universities that they're publicly funded. Well, those can be accessed by the public directly for low cost, no cost. So, like, so many things. Oh, God.
Yeah, it's a tall order when you got everything that you can get in terms of your bodies of government all being on your side as well. Everything's in front of you. You got to choose one thing. One thing, though. The first thing is the socializing of healthcare.
Healthcare. I'll do the healthcare then.
Okay, very, very fine. Everything else was also a really good answer as well. What about reparations for Black people, Black Americans?
Interesting, right? Reparations. Yeah. I think either I would do it or I would begin the conversation in a way that isn't right. Like Obama was asked about reparations, he immediately like tossed out a hand, and then that was it. That conversation is dead for now. But if I thought the country wasn't ready for it, which even then still might not be, because even having a socialist friendly country does not mean that we've surpassed we solve race relations, or even approaching it. So if I thought that I couldn't do it, then I would begin serious conversation. Like, okay, this is something that we should consider as a nation. These are the benefits, right? And I would catch a lot of heat for it. But the moment you can get it into serious mainstream discourse, right, and like keep putting it in there and force people to talk about it, then we can have a shift. Probably a violent shift. There's gonna be a violent backlash to it, but like someone needs to get the conversation started. At the very least, I can do that.
Okay. Even at the risk of there being violence in order to progress that idea. That violence is inevitable. Okay. Where do you see your talk panels going in the future? Are there any plans of expansion?
Not really, not at this point. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with my channel. I'm not sure how long I feel like I'll be doing it, honestly. I don't know. This is a new field, like just streaming in general and YouTube. Like, people, unless you are part of the upper like 1% of this. Like no one fucking retires. No one has retired. You know, these people just like move on. So we don't really know what the career path looks like long term for people who are like moderately successful at this. So it's like really unclear. So I want to like I would love to have politicians on for like one discussions. You know, I would love that. Like my ultimate goal would be to have like a presidential candidate come on and talk to them. That would be amazing.
That would be pretty amazing. That'd be hot. No one's ever done that before either. So, would you like to see in the future bigger streamers who are fostering huge communities? Would you like to see them sort of take care of their viewers in ways like Trainwrecks does a lot of this actually, where he will donate money to a lot of his viewers randomly, or instituting some sort of healthcare policy for his Discord or things like that, his community in general? Would you like to see that become a staple for people who have the income to do that?
A healthcare policy from Trainwrecks?
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, Trainwreck TV has made a lot of moves towards providing genuine help towards his consumer base, the people who watch him, by donating tens of thousands. I'm pretty sure he's donated up to hundreds of thousands of dollars at this point back to his community, and as well as talking about creating some sort of system, a healthcare system that helps people in need who has medical problems, medical bills, things like that. Would you like to see more of those sorts of things from streamers? And do you think that the parasocial relationship between streamers and viewers can be shortened by things like that?
What do you mean by shortened?
Made less of a gap. So the difference, so when I say that, I mean that the relationship that people have with streamers are a lot further, like the canyon between them is a lot further than they realize, right? They feel as though they're their best friends and stuff like that. But when actually helping out your viewers, being more engaging with your community, like certain other streamers, that gives the parasocial relationship less of a like a yikesy cringy thing where it's like you don't know this person doesn't know you exist, to like at least the person that you are following at least cares about you as a whole.
Yeah, okay. Well then, in that case, I hadn't heard of Trainwrecks doing anything like that, but I support that. Like, hey, a lot of people need help. Trainwrecks has done very, 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 very well for himself. And so yeah, if you have the means, then yeah, help out the community. I guess, from my political standpoint, I don't want to rely on charity, right? Like that's like such flimsy infrastructure.
I just put a link in Discord of an article. He was revealing that he would be launching a free mental health program.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, that's great. I love it. So assuming that it's done in a competent manner, I'm not saying that he's not competent, but just assuming that it is done in a competent manner, then amazing. It's just from my political standpoint, I'd rather have government investment. I'd rather have a free healthcare, which includes mental health.
If you could say one thing to people who are red pillars that would hopefully open their eyes to the realities of the things that they're espousing and the harm that it does, what would you say to them?
It's a thing. Oh God. I would say that it's not necessarily wrong to want to run your household in a certain way as long as you find someone who agrees. Because there are women who want to be in those traditional roles. So if you can find a person who wants to, take your leadership and go from there, then that's fantastic. Don't extrapolate that to the rest of us. Don't say that, that women are like failures, like this whole like black women discourse, like what's wrong with the black woman? That's just bullshit in all kinds of ways. We don't have time to talk about how much that's bullshit, but yeah, like those types of, like don't do that. Like if those women don't share your same values, that's okay, you can find another. All right? No need to tear down our black sisters. yeah, just like live kind of a live and let live thing, right? So I may not see the world in the way you do, but there's a partner out there for you that does. So do that, find that person, treat them well, and just recognize other people may not see it the same way.
Beautiful. All right. I think that was a great answer. Thank you for your time, Prime. I am so upset that I messed up the beginning of this flippin' interview. That's upsetting. I'll make sure to be a lot better about that in the future. But yeah, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you guys. This is I keep saying your name wrong, and I keep saying Primecayes, I think, but it's Primecayes. Okay, I thank you. Sorry about that, but guys, make sure you go and check out Primecayes on Twitch TV. You are also Primecayes on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So everywhere on Twitter, YouTube, check them out. They are a great political. I would even call them a political activist for the work that they do online and presenting and helping people voice the concerns or just general ideas that they have and letting that go into a box. And then everyone else also being able to contribute to that box. It's a great environment for learning to hear other people's sides, which is what I think we need more of on the online political discourse and just in general, so that we're not bubbled off. Thank you so much for coming in, dude. I really appreciate you taking the time out to come in and answer some questions.
I appreciate you not getting frustrated with me trying to set things up with me.
Not at all.
It's not easy with me sometimes.
Hey, you have to do it all the time, and I'm pretty sure with the scale that you do it at, I'm pretty sure you have a harder time. So I could understand just generally knowing that people are busy sometimes. People can't answer DMs all the time, so I understand that. Thank you so much for engaging with me. Of course.
And thank you. And I do this all the time, so it's not the first time I've said it to you, but thank you for sharing your time with my channel, right? Like you're a Bible individual. You don't always agree with us, which is great. I love that, right? Yeah. It doesn't sound like it when I'm speaking at you at very high volume, but I do appreciate when you come on and share that your
just
perspective,
passion.
your word with
Yeah, that's just passion, baby. I love passion. I love seeing it no matter what. So thank you again, and I'm gonna wrap up this interview. And guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel, the Jamallyverse Network, if you haven't. Videos like this will be coming out. I have an interview lined up with Stardust, another political streamer, and potentially more in the future as we go on. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. And if you've enjoyed this, click the like, subscribe, go follow Primecayes on everything. He is an absolute force of nature in this political spectrum, and we need more people like him. Thank you guys. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, and stay beautiful. That's the tagline.